For centuries, man has battled with the land to try and produce and feed his family. Through the harshest winters and the driest summers, he has toiled endlessly, fought with beasts of the land to reap the rewards of Earth's rich soil. Few people nowadays possess the knowledge of how to farm on God's green earth. As a wise man once told me, some can, some can't. And for those who can't, well, I guess they're just at the mercy of those who can. I did it! For months I've been growing these carrots, probably a bit longer than I should have. But I finally harvested all these carrots from our veggie patch that we've been documenting on our story highlights. And yeah, sure, they're a little rough around the edges and a bit quirky, but I love them and they're mine and I grew them and I'm happy. So today we're going to be making carrot cake. We're going to be doing carrot cake two ways today. One gluten-free and one regular. Why gluten-free? Nathan, you're not gluten-free. Why are you doing a gluten-free cake? Well, when I put the call out to our local community page on Facebook, Christine, the legend she is, was the first person to get back to me with her gluten-free, flourless carrot cake. So I thought, you know what, Christine, I'll give it a go. And secondly, we're going to be having a go at just your classic run-of-the-mill, heaps of flour, heaps of gluten carrot cake. So what do we need for the flourless gluten-free cake? We need 5 eggs, 1.5 cups of brown sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, half a cup of oil, 3.5 cups of almond meal, a teaspoon each of cinnamon and ground ginger, quarter a teaspoon of nutmeg, a cup of shredded coconut, I'm using desiccated though, a teaspoon of baking powder, half a cup of currants and half a cup of slivered almonds or walnuts, and finally 400 grams of grated carrots. Later on for the frosting, what we're going to need is cream cheese, 125 grams, 50 grams of butter, and 250 grams of icing sugar. Firstly, if you have organic homegrown carrots like I do, make sure you give everything a wash. So I think that's going to be a lot easier without the tops. Whatever happened to Carrot Top? You know that guy, comedian? What's the deal with carrots? There's no car in them and the car's not running. Oh my god, you're so dirty. What are you doing? Baby shark. Oh my god, not first! Now come on, seriously. Would you rather this or this? Something about, it's what's on the inside that counts, I believe. Wait, that's what Mum told me.
Can you hurry up and make the cake now?
Yeah. Peel your carrots, grate your carrots. In a large bowl, we're going to combine our oil, almond meal, cinnamon, ginger and nutmeg, baking powder, walnuts, currants, coconut and carrot. Mixing well to combine, we can set this aside while we electrically whisk 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 5 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to go until the mixture is about tripled in size, so roughly about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll combine the two mixtures, folding over and mixing to combine. Pour the mixture into a cake tin, and as with many things I've made on the Love Cafe, this is the first time of doing this one, so I'm not entirely sure how much it will rise, if at all, and I think I'm going to have to maybe make 2 carrot cakes. Now we're going into the 160 degree preheated oven for an hour and 20 minutes. See you then. While the cakes are in the oven, we're going to combine 50 grams of butter with 125 grams of cream cheese. Once the butter and the cream cheese is combined, start gradually adding in 250 grams of icing sugar. Once finished, chuck it into the fridge until it's ready to use. As you can see, the cake testers are coming out clean, so that would say that they're done, even though it's only been an hour and 5 minutes. Depending on the size of your cake tin, just keep testing it when it's around the time. Resting for 5 minutes in the cake tin, take it out and then cool completely. Now we can put on our cream cheese frosting. Alright, I've eaten dinner, the first quarter of the footy's finished, the cakes have completely cooled, and now it's time to put on our cream cheese frosting. With a spoon or an offset spatula like I have here, just put a bit on a time. With the frosting done, let's decorate a little bit. classically with just walnuts, and that's what we'll stick with, I reckon. 1 recipe's worth of cake batter, which we ended up getting 2 cakes out of, so bonus, I guess. Let's cut one open. Oh, looks awesome. I'm happy with this, thanks Christine. Gotta say, I've never had a gluten-free carrot cake, but I guess I'm converted. Let's get on to the next one. But first, let's see if that gluten-free cake's worth making at all, according to official cake tester, Dot.
Nathan's an all-man I am. He feels about 10 foot tall when he stands next to me. He's a beautiful boy, but he's not as beautiful as his cake. I love it. Oh, no wonder I've got this. Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks, Nan. Now we can finally move on with our regular carrot cake, for which we're going to need flour, bicarb soda, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, sugar, oil, eggs, and carrot. With our apron on, we can now peel and grate 1 carrot, and while we do that, we can discuss the continuity elephant or lack of continuity elephant in the room. Yes, I've had a haircut. Yes, I no longer have a beard. Yes, my clothes are different. I filmed the gluten-free carrot cake a while ago, and now I'm finally making the regular one. That's the Love Cafe way, baby. Fast and loose. Alright, so we're going for 1.5 cups of carrot here. Perhaps the most disappointing thing about the lack of continuity is that we're using city carrots. We ran out of Kunch carrots, so back to the big smoke we go. With the carrot done, we can now chop up 200 grams of walnuts, which is about 2 cups of whole walnuts unchopped. They can then be combined with the carrots and stirred to combine. Next, we'll combine most of our dry ingredients, which is 1¼ cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of bicarb soda, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and a teaspoon of salt, and stir to combine that too. And then for the wet ingredients, we're combining 1 cup of sugar. Now, side note with the sugar, I did try it with 175 grams of brown, which roughly is a cup, and it just kind of turned out to be a little bit heavy, not in a bad way, but it was a bit better with white sugar. 200 mils of vegetable oil and 2 eggs. We'll stir to combine that and get our oven preheating to 150 degrees Celsius. Bringing it all together, you can add your carrot and walnuts to the wet mixture and combine that. Once that's done, you can introduce most of the dry ingredients, combine that, and then add the rest in. And there you have it. A nice carrot cake mix. Get your cake mix into a greased lined cake tin and then into the oven for about 45 minutes. The cake is going to take a bit longer than that, but because mine was quite wide, I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to take. So just keep stabbing it until it comes out clean. Alright, so our cake is cooled, and it's in fact cooled overnight. Since this has gone into probably day 3 of filming now, this is the most treacherous Love Cafe episode that we've ever filmed. So it's time to put on our icing and be done with it. For that, we're going to use 25 grams of butter, 62.5 grams of cream cheese, and 125 grams of icing sugar, and maybe a splash of vanilla. So once everything's in a bowl, we can just use the power of electricity to beat it together, and we're ready for icing. Alright, my goodness, so the time that I never thought would come is finally here. Our cake is done, our icing is done, and it's time to bring the two together in some sort of harmonious fashion. Now, as I do this, I kind of think back to the gluten-free cake I made many moons ago now, maybe just 1 moon. And that probably could have been double layered. However, we learn from these mistakes, or you know what? I had 2 cakes. So really, I could give one away to whoever I wanted and I'll look like a champ. So it's however you want to do it. If you want to be generous and give away a cake, by all means go for it. If you don't. Either or, someone's going to enjoy cake, let them eat cake. Yeah, and that's really all I have to say on that. Okay, guess what? Done, dusted, I'm calling it, I'm done. Time of death, 12:53. Here we go. How does that look? Bloody spectacular. Let's have a sneaky piece. It's moist. If you give this to a friend and they don't like it, it's time to get new friends. Yum, yum, yum. Alright, you'll find the recipe in the description as always. And if you try this cake, please share it online, tag at @the_Love Cafe, tell your friends, tell your family, Love Cafe, it's the best cooking content this side of the equator. Stay tuned for another episode.